Welcome to the Bitchin' Siblings Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bitchin' Siblings Podcast. I'm Ginny.
Hey guys, it's Amy. And this week's This and That has a theme.
Ooh,
Our theme this week is Adventure Edition.
interesting.
Yes. So let's jump right in. Would you rather go on a safari adventure or a sailboat voyage?
Safari.
Mostly because of the animals.
Oh yeah. And I have a very healthy respect for water. Enough that I don't find sailing or cruises on the top of my list of things I want to do.
I mean, that's fair. Like, legit, the only... So, like, there's a couple cruises, actually, that Bill and I want to take. One would be to Alaska. But that's not a, like, everyday cruise. So, and then the other one is actually the Nordic or Viking ones that go through, like, the smaller areas of the Mediterranean and all that. That's kind of cool, but yeah, I'm right there with you. Safari, hands down. I want to see all the animals, and I'll probably die on that safari because I'll get out of a Jeep and I'll be like, "Come here, little lion! I just want to love on you."
But what a way to go! But what a way to go! I mean, who cares if a lion takes me out? It's a great story. But I also have a healthy respect for wild animals. Habitats. Like, I'm not going to be those stupid people that you see at Yellowstone trying to approach bison.
No, like, those are big creatures and they're not, like, snuggly.
Well, even if they were. I mean, bison
they're cute, but they're not, like, snuggly and fluffy.
I have a healthy respect for their space.
I do, but I don't. Like, I think the people that do invade their space are stupid, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I'd be the person that dies calling a mountain lion, "Come here, little kitty."
Yeah, I mean, I would be like, "Oh, he's so cute, I want to pet it," but I would want to respect its space. Now, if it came up to the safari vehicle or whatever, like you've seen in some videos, I'd have a hard time not wanting to be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cute, it's so cute," but you know,
yeah. And that's where we die, people.
But anyways,
love letters in Paris or magic waterfalls in Hawaii?
Would I rather get love letters in Paris?
I don't know. I think it's like the Letters to Juliet movie.
Oh,
that's how I interpret it, at least.
I'm
gonna say magic waterfalls in Hawaii because, first of all, I love waterfalls, and I highly doubt I would ever actually have the courage to do it. But I do want to do some cliff diving in Hawaii.
I think I would rather the Paris thing just because if we're talking like the movie-ish, like being in like the countryside and like being up in like all the vineyards and the wineries, to me, that is very beautiful. I don't know that I would want to be in Hawaii because it's just there's so many tourists. And the area that like I see when you're talking about love letters from Paris, it's not necessarily Paris. I'm thinking like the countryside, the French countryside, and you know.
That's fair.
To me, that's more appealing.
See, and even though I've been to Hawaii, I still picture like Kauai that's more like rainforest and less people go there. Like, it's not as touristy. So that's what I picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Northern Lights camping or treehouse in Bali?
Oh, that's hard.
Right?
Am I by myself or am I with my spouse?
You're with your spouse if you want to be.
Then it would have to be the treehouse in Bali because my husband would never go camping.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. If I can guarantee that I'm going to see the Northern Lights, I think I'm going with the Northern Lights. Just because
that's what I would want, but my husband would just never.
So what you guys need to do is you guys need to like plan one of those trips to, I think it's Norway, that they have the like the igloos.
Yes.
I mean, they're not igloos, but they're like glass or whatever, so you can see through the ceiling and just stare up at it.
Now, if there was like a real bed, and it was like, you know what I mean? Like, because when I'm thinking treehouse, I'm thinking of like those like villas. You know what I mean? I'm not talking like one of those like rinky-dink ones. If there was like a real bed and everything, and he didn't have to quote unquote be outside where there's bugs, then yeah.
See, and the only downside too is if you're camping, Northern Lights camping, it's cold.
Yeah.
Like, and as long as I had the gear, because, Northern Lights are, I think, the most prevalent in March.
Yeah. I think February, March. Yeah.
Because I think that, like, when I worked for an airline, someone told me that the start of the Iditarod was a great time to go see the Northern Lights.
Yep.
And that's something actually I want to see too, is the Iditarod race, because I want to see all the puppies.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Gelato in Rome or ramen in Japan?
Can I have ramen in Rome? Because I like ramen better than I like gelato. I'm going to have to say ramen in Japan.
Just because of the food?
That, and I mean, there is something very fascinating about the culture there, and I've seen some beautiful things about the Japanese countryside, and, it's not just all the industrial city of Tokyo, where everything's booming.
Yeah.
There's some really beautiful areas in Japan, and yes, the food has something to do with it.
Yeah, I will take Japan as well. So back when I was 14, Aunt Sunday worked for a microchip processing plant, and they worked closely with a company in Japan, like their parent company, or I don't know exactly what it was. Anyways, so they had this exchange program where they'd send some of their kids over to Japan, and some Japan kids would come over to the US, and you couldn't qualify for it though until the kid was 16. And unfortunately, Aunt Sunday got laid off and that plant shut down when I was 15. So I never qualified to try. But I really wanted to do that.
That would have been cool.
Yeah. So ever since then, I was like, I lost my opportunity.
I feel like you missed out.
Yeah. Yeah. Gondola ride in Venice or hot air balloon ride in Turkey?
I think I'm going to say gondola in Venice only because I have a slight fear of being in a hot air balloon. Something about it just does not seem very
safe,
stable, or safe. But I have been to the Middle East, and it's stunning and gorgeous. So if I had to pick, it would probably be the gondolas in Venice, but I would not turn down the hot air balloon in Turkey, because I think I could put aside my discomfort for a little bit it is beautiful. And I know that Turkey is obviously slightly different than Israel, but the Middle East is stunning in its own right. You just got to find the right place. Yeah. So
I'm going to go with hot air balloon. Just because I feel like Venice would be too overpopulated and too many people.
Yes, I know.
And I have like the fear of heights, but I feel like I could get over that, and especially if I took some kind of anxiety medication.
Yeah.
So I think I could handle it. Road trip in a classic car or red-eye flight in a private jet?
Classic car, because for anybody who knows, Jenny hates to fly. And the smaller the plane, the worse it is. So as much as I would get there quicker, and I'm sure it would probably be far more comfortable than being in an old school car, I'll take the car.
I'll take the car too, because like one, it takes a little longer, so that's kind of fun, as long as I've got either tunes, a good road trip companion, or audiobooks.
Or food. You need good munchy food, a good travel partner, and good music and or auditory entertainment.
Exactly. Holi Festival in India or Floating Lantern Festival in Thailand?
I don't know what the Holi Festival is in India, so I'm gonna have to say the lantern in Thailand, because I have seen pictures and video of that.
I'm gonna go with that too, just because if I'm there for that festival, I also then get to see other parts of Thailand while I'm there. And Thailand's like one of my friends from elementary school. He's in the military, and he's been to Thailand several times, and he's always said it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. So
one of my husband's cousins, and I put that in quotations because he's was an exchange student from Thailand and stayed with my husband's uncle. He now lives here, so he's kind of like been honorarily adopted by the family because he's been here for so long. And then he went to college here, and his wife is from here. And so he's a member of the family pretty much because him and Roger's cousin have been friends since high school. Cool. And he's from Thailand. That's and so his awesome. Wife went back with their kids with him to Thailand, and she said it was just beautiful. But it's a long flight. She was saying it was almost like 24 hours.
From where?
Well, where we're at, we'd have to drive 3 hours to the closest airport. We're 3 hours from the closest airport, 5 hours from the closest international airport. So you got to keep in mind 5 hours of the travel time. So,
okay,
part of the driving. Otherwise, you can fly from Omaha, which is not international, to an international airport, but you still have to drive 3 hours. So
no, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
It sucks. We used to have United Airlines here, but they did not renew their contract because United got rid of some of their smaller hubs during the pandemic, and ours is one of them. So we used to be able to take rides or like plane rides and puddle jump to either Chicago or Denver and then fly out from those international airports, but we don't have that now.
Gotcha.
So,
all right. Last one. Desert daydreams or city night escapades?
How old am I?
Exactly how old you are right now.
Then desert daydreams. I'm too old for the city nightlife.
I feel that.
It's beautiful.
I feel that.
It's beautiful, and I would love to say that I would enjoy it, but by 9 o'clock, I'm going to be tired and want to go to bed.
Fair. Totally fair. Although...
But if I was like 22, 23, hell yeah, give me some city escapades, city night escapades, like safe, jumping around. Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, no, see, all I can picture when I think of desert daydreams, though, is like Burning Man. And like that just like fills me with anxiety.
I'm thinking desert daydreams like when we drove back from LA to Vegas, we drove through Palm Springs, Joshua Tree, and so we got to see a lot of really pretty areas. And I mean, I'm sure I could find myself something to do in one of those areas.
This is very true. This is very true. I just, for some reason, I have flashbacks to working right after Burning Man. When people,
I was gonna say, let's clarify. She's never been to Burning Man.
No, absolutely not. I worked at the airport that was close to where people would come in for Burning Man, and
it was one of the hubs. Yeah.
And then they'd drive out because it's still a several hour drive from where I worked.
Right.
But people would be like coming in barefoot to the airport, and then I'd have to argue with them that you have to put shoes on to get on a plane. That was fun.
So we understand why Amy's answer is the way that it is.
Yes. All right. Well, that's all I've got. Do you have any input to add?
No.
All right. Well, just a reminder, guys, if you guys have any cool this or that, or would you rather, or anything like that, feel free to email us at ginnyandamypodcast@gmail.com. That's GINNYANDAMY podcast@gmail.com.
You can also reach us on Instagram at Bitching Siblings Podcast. We look at all those messages as well. So drop us a line, everybody. Tell us what your suggestions are. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
By the way you say bye has become very iconic.
Why?
I don't know, but it's like almost every single episode. It's just the inflection that you have.
Is it good or bad?
It's good.
Okay.
It's just very obvious who is saying bye.
Who's.
It's cute.